Is this going to work? We'll see. Boop. That is better, right? Good. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. Obviously, have never streamed on YouTube before. Apologies for that. I am getting used to this. Apparently, I can't change my camera midstream. So that is interesting. I'm going to have to figure out, maybe research streaming a little more to try and get the hang of this. Okay, I apologize. Okay, so I am here with the Reads and Stuff profiler. And I have not done anything to this yet. This is literally my first time unboxing it and looking at it. So we're going to check this out and see how this works. So it literally came like all, put together with this rubber band on it. The handle is like obviously right here rather than being on top so that they can package it better, which is fantastic. They also have a new lock feature that I read about on their website. So as you can see here, see if we can get it in the shot. It's behind the handle. So I will take the handle off, which I believe is literally just screw it off. Very easy. That's very convenient. Thank you for making that easy. Okay. And then, as you can see, there's this metal bar right here. This is keeping the whole mechanism locked together for transport. So it's literally making it like super easy to actually get to, right? And like keep it safe. So I am going to unlock this. I believe, yep. Comes with all the tools you need. So you're literally supposed to unlock it, like unscrew it, and go ahead and just take the bar completely out, is what it says in the directions. Ta-da! Just comes completely out, that bar. So I will keep this. Oh, and there's a little like washer guy. Probably keep it from scratching. I'm going to keep this in one of these baggies just so that I have it for later. And voila. Keep this also. I'm just going to have to remember how that went together. And I'm going to take this guy off because that was holding everything together. Good. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and screw this handle on, which I believe goes right here. This little screw mechanism. Super easy to put together. I love that. Okay. I'm so excited. Okay. So I was sent this profiler by Reads and Stuff, and they set it up for me for Contrabassoon. Now, I want to make sure that it works for bassoon, which is a different length. So I want to make sure that I can fit my bassoon on here. So this is a bassoon. This is a bassoon. What's it called? Oh my gosh. Barrel. That's what it's called. This is a bassoon barrel. This is a contrabassoon barrel. So you can see they're quite different sizes. And the contrabassoon barrel fits in this guy right here. So that is, I think there's also, is this a safety thing as well? I wonder. I think it is. Oh no, it's just to keep it in place. So, ooh, this is interesting. So now that I know, on one side, oh, this is kind of a crazy angle. So on one side of the barrel, there's this little like lever thing. It's like a piece of metal that like keeps it together, right? Which is kind of interesting. The other side doesn't have that. It's totally bare, right? Usually when I've worked with profilers before, they have nothing on either side. So this is really interesting. But it seems like it creates the pressure to keep it from moving, which is fantastic. Also, there are ball bearings in the little like spaces right in here. So they're to keep this from coming out, obviously. I've seen that before many times, but haven't seen this little spring-loaded guy over here, which is pretty cool. So this obviously is for contrabassoon, so we are going to have to switch this out for bassoon. And they sent me the parts for the bassoon version. So we're just going to remember that the clip goes over on this side, And I want to make sure before I take everything out that I'm making sure I put it in the right way. So it looks like there's no differentiation on this side between the sides other than the little guys. I'm sure it'll fit right in. And then on this side, and this side obviously has the clip. So we're going to just make sure we keep these separate. Also, those came with this guy specifically. So I'm going to turn this over and take out. They make it super easy to like, if I can, you can do it. I don't know, am I loosening it the wrong way, perhaps? We'll see. Okay. And maybe I'm just super weak. I think I'm just weak. I also don't want to damage the front of this. I know I probably should have put on, maybe I'll take off the handle again so that I can switch it out. And I'll maybe put the lock back on, which is super easy to put back on, so that I'm not damaging the blade in any way. Boop. Right in there. Put this back. Okay. So now, still doesn't really sit nicely. Maybe they don't come out, you know? Maybe you can just put them right next to each other. Is that how that works? Perhaps. Nope. So I can see right here, right there, that there's a little hole right there and it overlaps with this guy. So I have to take this out to put the other parts in, unfortunately. Okay. I just need more muscle in my fingers, which is, I don't want to break it. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? Am I doing it right? Oh my gosh. I didn't think this was going to be the hardest part, but they really screwed those guys in really well. Oh God, I can't get it. Yeah. The metal part got taken off of mine when it was set up. What is that? The metal part. The person preferred it because it's easier to remove the barrel. What does that mean? Oh, I got you. The little spring thingy. That makes sense. Ugh, come on. You can do it. Oh my gosh, why is this so difficult? Oh, did I get it? Yes. Oh my gosh. I have never been so proud of myself. Come on. You can do it. Oh, those are really screwed in there. Whew, don't try this at home, you guys. Is there a locking mechanism? No, it doesn't look like there's a lock. I don't see anything that... They're pretty short screws. They don't go in the whole way. So like there's like a screw at the top here, but like I don't see any locking mechanism of any sort. Ooh, that would be nice though, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh yeah, they've literally got paint on them. That's probably why they were so hard to take out. Woof. Ooh. Don't lose it. Yeah, they've got like some sort of paint on them. So that's probably why it was so difficult to take them off. Okay. keep these where they came from. Keep them safe. Put that back in there. And then we're going to take, I'm going to put, again, keeping this organized. I'm going to put this in a bag so that I remember which one's which. All right, we already did this side. Perfect. Beautiful. Number one. So I assume doing this again another time probably won't be quite as difficult now that I've gotten them loose. So there's that. Okay. Keeping these together. Yeah. Okay. Putting that in the bag. All right. And then we're going to put the bassoon ones on. So, and these don't look like they have any paint on them. That's so strange. Okay. This one goes on the right. So we'll just it's got like these little handy screw thingies, these like pins to kind of show you exactly where it goes. So you don't have to like line it up on the bottom. Gosh, if that were the case, that would be so frustrating. Have you ever tried to line up a screw with something on the other side of something? Yeah, it's not easy. So that makes it way easier. Which one was I using? This one. There we go. I know I should be using it like smart people do with your thumb thing. Okay, perfect. So I'm already really liking how easy they make this, other than getting the screws out the first time. But I like how easy they're making it to match up the parts and get them to fit. That is fantastic. I was always wondering about how these interchangeable parts would work, because I was like, well, am I going to know where they're going to go? Am I going to know what size to use? All this kind of stuff. And it's pretty, since I've used profilers before, many different types, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory to me, which is awesome. Getting the bassoon barrel in here. The other thing I was worried about is that I have used Reed Machines tools before. I have a gouger from a friend of mine that I've been borrowing since my tools were lost in January. Haven't gotten replacements, by the way. Very frustrating. But since I just invested in a bunch of Reeds and Stuff tools, I guess I don't need the replacements anymore. I would like them though, since, it would be nice to have them. But what was I saying? I have used Reed Machines before. And it seems like they have a separate blade for the gouger to make it interchangeable. The bed and the gouger blade are interchangeable mechanisms. So with this, I was kind of worried about having to change out the blade and the barrel and all of this stuff. So I was kind of like, oh gosh, here we go. But it is not like that. So I'm pleasantly surprised that the blade can be used for both. The other reason I was, excited about investing in Reeds and Stuff is that with the MD profiler I had used previously, really enjoyed the price point of that. However, the blade is not easily replaced. So if you damage it in any way, or if it, if you wanted to get it sharpened, he will take it back and sharpen it for free if you just send it to him, which is fantastic. But if you want to replace the blade, he actually has to have the full machine to replace it, to fit it to that specific machine. And with Reeds and Stuff, they just sell machine replacements. Like they sell blade replacements, which is fantastic. I keep saying fantastic. I'm overusing that word. I apologize. But you get what I mean. So I have switched out. I'm so excited to try this out. Okay, I have switched out the barrel mechanism. So now it fits a bassoon barrel instead. Now, something that I read in their directions was that there is this little mechanism here on the barrel. By the way, they sell like 5 different barrels, which is very exciting. I was really impressed when I went on their website when they asked me like what I wanted on it and everything. I was like, there are like 5 different barrels. Like you can have spine triple plus, spine double plus, spine plus, and then you can get the I think I got the eccentric barrel. And then there's one with absolutely no spine. So there's 5 different options, which is really, really kind of cool. There's also this little guy. I don't know how to move this back and forth. I don't want to break it. I think it might just slide. I don't know. But you can, this is like a setting. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, I see it. I got you right here. This is fun. Exploring all these things. So in the manual, it says, what's it called? The length stop integrated into the barrel makes it even easier to position the cane. The position of the length stop is variable, accommodating the different cane lengths. So like obviously, if you want to use a different cane length, you're going to get, you can change that, which is super interesting. I've never had yep. So these are lined up to be 120 from this little line here to that little line there. So exactly the same amount of area from the back of the barrel, which is exactly what I want. So I'm not even going to move it. That's fantastic. My cane is 120 millimeters in length. So that's exactly what I want. So all I have to do is just boop, done. I don't even have to like line it up. I got to line it up in the middle with all these, like, there's also like little etches. You guys could probably not see that at all. So I will bring it up here. Boop. Over here. Camera over here. I'm so bad at this. Okay. Voila. Okay. So if you can see on this side, you've got a bunch of lines. So the cane stop, can you see how my cane stops when I move it there? It's like it makes it that little mechanism. You can move it back and forth so that it goes to different lengths if you want it. But that reaches 120 from there to the other side, which is the exact same length from there to the barrel, the end of the barrel, which is really exciting because I am always having trouble lining up my cane. So now I'm lining it up with the score marks right there, which means that I am getting it perfectly centered. And there you are. There you have it. Makes it super easy. Boom. That's so nice. What a great feature to add to a profiler. So just to get that set up, I am going to go ahead and fasten that to the barrel so that I don't have to worry about it later. Now that I've got it all lined up and stuff. Now, I'm wondering, it looks like the blade is pretty low down compared to everything else. So I don't think it's going to get caught on this guy. So I could put it back here or I could put it farther up. And I'm just to be safe, I'm going to put it a little farther back. But I probably could put it all the way up. I'm just going to leave it right there on the cane. Okay. So the next step is to figure out the settings. So it says that there are, first of all, I'm looking at this thing and it looks like, oh, God, I forgot the handle. It's okay. I have like 10 pieces of cane. So if I destroy one, it's totally okay. All right. So the handle, as you can see, the way a profiler works, refocus. Voila. Okay. So the way a profiler works is you have this blade mechanism, right, on the handle part. And what happens is you end up having this wheel run along this surface. And the angle of that surface determines how high the blade is on the actual cane. And so then it takes off a specific amount based on how much you want. Now it only goes, it goes like the wheel only goes about here, right? So I don't think this edge matters quite as much as this edge does. So underneath these little like levers, you can see there's like a little twisty guy. And I assume that you can probably turn it to get it higher, but I'm going to start with what they recommend in the manual, which is this guy. So as you can see, there's a little knob here. I wish I could get my, let's see if we can, I wish I could get it closer, but I probably could if I move this reed rack. Let's see if we can do that. Finding places for things is always a challenge. Now let's not kill my other reed rack. Okay. Huh. Oh, that's much better. Look at me being all resourceful and stuff. Okay. I'm going to move this back so you guys can see it. Okay. So as you can see, there's this little dial here. And there's a little lock mechanism. So you have to unlock it to be able to go ahead and twist this back and forth. Otherwise, it locks in place, so you can't even move it, right? So that is what I'm going to start with to figure out the thickness that I want. So what it looks like is it's at 0 right now. And it doesn't say anything in the manual. The manual is very basic, by the way. But it's very, easily understandable. That's all it is. It's just like 3 pages, front and back, very basic instructions. But there's also a QR code, so I get the feeling that you could probably go to their website and find more details. However, I've worked with Profiler before, so it's not like my first time. However, let's just go ahead and do it. I don't have a ton of time. I have a lesson at 6, so I am going to just try this and experiment with it. So let's try it where it is and see what happens. Oh, yes, forgot the features. We've also got, this is very exciting. I have not had a profiler with this before. These features are collar cutters. This is a middle cutter and a collar cutter, which is very exciting because it basically creates definition for you so that you don't have to do as much work after, which is so exciting. Yep. Ta-da! Okay. It looks like also these little screws here, you can adjust the height of that based on where the screw hits, because the screw hits like this little guy right here. So you can actually adjust the height of it based on how deep you want the collar cut and the middle cut, which is really, really quite fascinating. There's also a little, I've seen that before on the old Reeds and Stuff profilers, makes it much easier to cut, to bring this barrel back and forth, because if I didn't have, what is keeping it from moving all the way? I don't know, but it's probably good because then it won't hit the barrel. Like, I obviously can't move it further than a specific amount, which is kind of interesting. Oh, there it goes. I'm just an idiot. It's fine, guys. Okay. And then, ooh, interesting that I got like 2 different cuts out of that. It's a little bit wobbly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see if I can fit something in there. Oh, I don't think I have one small enough. Nope. Nope, I do not. Interesting. So what's happening right now is, you see how wobbly that is? Like, I wish I could tighten this screw so that it's not as wobbly, so that it gets one specific area. But I don't know that it's going to matter much with this one. It might matter more with this guy. So I don't think you can really tighten it either, which is kind of interesting. Okay, well, we'll deal with it. I'm going to cut the collar back here. See, okay, so exactly. The collar is not, this mechanism is not low enough. So I'm going to have to take probably this middle one and open that up just a little bit so that it actually hits the cane. Right now, it's not even touching the cane when I put it down. So we want it low enough. There we go. The other thing you want to watch with a profiler when you're setting it up with this kind of mechanism is that you don't want it to go you don't want it to hit the barrel. So just like, when you're working fast, I understand like it's hard to avoid that. But when you hit the barrel, it's going to scratch it. And it doesn't look great, but it's not going to hurt your reeds in any way necessarily because you're literally just putting the cane right in the middle. So let's check this out. So what I'm noticing already is that this is a very short amount of space between the back of the cane and right here. So what I'm going to have to do is adjust where this is. I think I flip it over and we can adjust where the collar hits because I want my cane. I think I have a couple. No, I don't. I don't have any. Oh, I do. I don't. Oh. My collar on my reeds, I believe, is around 29 or 30 millimeters from the butt end of the reed. Let's just measure that real quick. Boop. I know mine's a little longer than most people. So yeah, 29 and a half, 30-ish is where I like my collar from the butt of the reed. And right now, this is like 24. Yeah, way too far back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off for safety. Flip this over. And get it to where I want it. Now, this doesn't have a setting on it where I can measure it automatically. It doesn't have like a millimeter gauge on it or anything to show me where exactly to put it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it loose for a second so I can move it around easily. And I'm going to measure 30, we're going to do 29 and a half millimeters from the butt end of the cane. And I am going to make a mark with a pen. And then we're going to line it up. There it is. All right, so now we're going to line up this little guy to cut my collars exactly where I want them. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it just a little bit to see if that's right. A little bit to the left, probably. That's probably perfect. Okay, so now we're going to be very gentle and try to keep that exactly where it is so that we can tighten that screw underneath again. Don't move, sir. Don't you move. And there we go. So the other thing I'm going to have to do now that I've done that is I have to fix this. Because if this goes behind the collar, which where it's lining up right now, I can already tell it is, then that is going to mess up the collar of my cane. So I want my collar to be there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to test one little scrape, and it doesn't even touch the bottom. So I'm going to have to make this way lower to even get it to where I want it to be. So let's see. Do I change this guy, or do I change? Because I don't think I have to change. I don't think I changed that at all, honestly. Now this is interesting. This does have a measurement right here, so I'm wondering what that's for. Oh, you know what I bet it is if you want the profile. So if this is higher, right, the back is going to be higher. Does that make sense? And this can be changed to get a thinner profile at the tip or a thicker profile at the tip if you want it, right? So if I move this down and I move this over, this whole mechanism, if I move this over, it'll get me a thinner profile at the tip. That's what I bet that is, because each one can be at a different angle. You can't really tell what those angles are until... Yeah, and I can move this down to get a thinner profile at the tip and move this one up to get a thicker profile at the back. And then let's move it over just a little bit, because I'm wondering what this is for, though. I kind of want to watch a video on it. I know that's going to be like weird, watching a video while I'm live streaming, but I think it'll help. Let's see. QR code. Boom. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There is a whole manual with that QR code. Look at that. Fantastic. Let's jump to, I'm going to open this. Jump to the position of the ramp. I'm curious about that. Yep. Yep. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. These guys create two different tapers. So by adjusting the profile adjustment ramp, you can make a straight taper blade, a parallel trim raid, where the taper from the collar to the tip is minimal, or a tip taper trim, where there's a secondary taper toward the tip with a steeper angle than just a single taper design. The starting point for the secondary taper can be moved forward or backward along the reed's blade to refine the feel of the reed. Yep, that makes sense. So you can literally move this back and forth to get a more defined tip if you want. I think I'm just going to keep it where it is for now, because I want to see what it I want to see what it does, you know. But my problem is the blade isn't even touching the cane right now. So yeah, so what you're supposed to do is, yep. Center the soaked cane on the barrel. Got it. Sorry, I'm just reading. When you set a longer tip. Steeper, same thickness at the collar and at the beginning of the tip area than before. To change the incline of the tip area, loosen the set screw for the tip taper adjuster on the left side of the ramp. Turning the adjuster clockwise. Yep, that's what I thought. These little, see, I'm already understanding this. I think this needs to be up. I'm not gonna, the reason I'm confused is right now is because, and I'm double checking everything, is because I don't want to adjust the height of the blade. Like, that is the last thing I want to do. Since it's already set up for me, I don't want to adjust that. I don't think the blade should really ever move. The adjustments on your machine should move to the blade. So like, I'm trying to figure out how I make the adjustments on here work for the thickness of my cane. Because I gouge my cane just a little bit thinner than most people. I gouge it in inches to a 0.005 of an inch. And as you can see from trying my profiler already, it's only taking off from here to the front. So I want it to get back here, which means I believe I have to incline this guy significantly more. So I'm unscrewing this guy to get that height that I need to get the back of the reed. Nope, I think I'm actually going the wrong direction, you guys, because I'm an idiot. Okay, we're going to bring it down a little bit. Because that means if it's not hitting where I need it to, it's actually too high, which is good that they set it that way. We're going down, which righty tighty, guys. Righty. This is basic knowledge of machines and things. Okay. Now we're probably at a very low. Yep, we're at a very low setting, and it's going all the way back here, which is good. That's good. We've already assumed, guys, that I am ruining this piece of cane. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Okay. So right now it's cutting pretty significantly into my cane, and it is not matching up with my collar where I set my collar. So I'll just show you guys a little closer. Focus right here. Come on. Almost. We're getting there. Huh. Oh, so close. There it is. Okay. So, as you can see right here is where my blade came to, where I just profiled it pretty far back. This is where I want my collar, right there. That is where the blade went to. So what I need to do is adjust literally where the collar sits. Ugh. I need to adjust where this guy goes to back here. So there are adjusters right down here at the back. Got to find the guy that fits. There we go. And we are going to undo this one and move it. Oh, not that much. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust this based on where the blade is hitting. And I'm going to line it up with my collar that I've marked with the collar cutter. And voila. There it is. Now, I also want to mark where the middle hits. So as you can see, bring this back up here so you can see it. The middle, opposite directions. Okay, the middle, if you can see this little hash mark in the middle of the barrel, it's not actually lining up with where the blade or the middle hits, right? So we want to adjust that as well. So many adjustments, but isn't this awesome that is that personalized? Like, that is the cool thing about this, is that you can personalize this to literally any measurement you want for the middle of the reed, for the collar of the reed, anything you want. So we are going to match this guy up with that marking in the middle. So let's just see if we can. It's really hard to see from this side because, like, literally the blade is in the middle of this thing and I can't see underneath it. So we're just going to mark it and see if that's the right place. Nope. A little farther over to the left. See if that's the right place. It's just like less than a millimeter over to the left. And we'll probably be in the perfect spot. Yep, there it is. Okay, we're going to hold this here. Flip it back over and get it to stay where it is. These are very delicate movements you have to make here so that it doesn't move on you. Okay, perfect. And then we have to line this up with the middle as well, the blade. So again, this guy over here is what I need to move to get it to be exactly in the middle. Love it. Okay. Getting my blade to line up with that little notch. Ta-da! Get it nice and snug. I do enjoy doing this. When I was in grad school and my undergrad, understandably, my professors were like, yo, you can't mess with the tools. And I was always like frustrated a little bit because I wanted to learn how to adjust the tools. But there were also, in my master's degree, there were 28 students in my studio. So if every single student was adjusting the profiler, how out of whack would everybody's reads be? You know what I mean? Like, I totally understand now why they told us not to adjust anything. But I also lacked that experience of, like, I want to be able to adjust things so I know how to adjust them when I get my own tools one day, if that ever happens. Because when I was a student, I thought to myself, gosh, there is no way I'm ever going to afford that. Look at me now. What? Okay, anyway. So we're going to go ahead and test this one more time now that I've got my settings on the right and the left. I've got my blade exactly where it needs to be. Oh, shush, phone. Okay. And then I've got my barrel and all of these collar settings exactly where I want them to be. So now I'm going to redefine the collar, redefine that middle, and then we're going to go ahead and go at it with the blade. Oh, this guy. So it's not taking off much, which tells me that I'm probably going to have to move this over to be able to define how much taper that actually has. Yep, that's probably what's going to have to happen, because I don't see a way to make this whole thing lower or to make this whole thing higher. And so let's just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and actually measure the thickness of my cane right now. Because when you're adjusting your profiler, you always want to measure exactly where your measurements are. So I'm going to take my micrometer. I know the camera angle is terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to take my micrometer. I'm going to measure right at the collar. See the thickness. See if it's what I want. Yep, it's perfect, actually. A little thicker than I would like. So I would actually take a little bit off, but I don't want to take too much off, because what's going to happen is it's going to start to be a little too thin for my reeds later on. But I don't want to have to take anything off at the back. I feel like I'm usually a little thinner at the back than that, so I might just take off just a little bit more. So that means adjusting this to be even thinner, which means tightening it even more. Just a millisecond, a half a millimeter, a thousandth of a millimeter, whatever we measure in. Okay, I'm actually going to go on the other side to get a fresh start. Defining that collar again. And then we're going to go at it on this side. Yep. All right. I'm actually going to experiment with this and move this guy over, because I really feel like I'm not getting any definition in the tip. And that bothers me like a lot, because I really want my tip definition to be there. So there are 2 screws holding this guy in to move it over. It's very, very well in place. So we're going to move it right there. And of course, this is kind of hit or miss. I'm not really going to measure it because I want to see what the taper does. Making sure this is lower. I am not a lefty. Okay. Oh, bringing that down just a little bit more. See if we can do that. Okay. Yeah, it's barely even. Ooh, but I'm getting a little more off there. So let's adjust it one more time. Ooh, yeah, that's way too low. So now I'm seeing this is way too low. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, we're going to go back to the other side because I've taken way too much off of the right collar now, to the point where it is unusable. Like I said, to figure out a new machine, you got to ruin a couple pieces of cane. Am I right? All right. Better. We're not hitting the collar too far back now, but we're also taking a little off the edge. Oh, excuse me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over just a little more, because I want more definition in my tip. Once again, I'm going to have to let you guys go very soon here, because I have a lesson in 10 minutes. I should have started the live stream sooner. Sorry, guys. Move it like there. But I think we're getting to what I want, which is fantastic. All right, I'm going to check that out. I have a little more room in my tip on this side to be able to see how far this goes and pull that excess cane out so I get a good blade operation. Oh, yeah. So look how much cane I just got off that tip. That is exactly what I want. That is exactly what I want. I am worried about smashing my thumb between this and this. Gotta be careful with that one. Okay, now last thing, I'm gonna measure it at the tip to see. Now, when you're measuring with a micrometer at the tip, you kind of have to angle it like sideways. Oh, camera, where are you? There we go. So it's not gonna be a perfect, yeah, I could definitely get that thinner. Right now it's like mid, like it's where it should be right here. And like, I want it to be way thinner than that. So, but at the edge, at the back of the reed, very good. Exactly where I want it. So I'm not going to mess with this guy anymore, but I am going to mess with this one. So to get it thinner, that means that I have to put it lower down so that the blade actually gets angled lower down. I don't think I have much more room to go down here. So it might end up being a blade height adjustment, honestly. That is the last thing I want, but it might be my only resort at this point to get the blade to go lower. Literally. My only option. That will be another video. Okay, so we're going to try this one more time. Just to see if I can get it, the tip where I want it. It's taken a little more off. I can already see the color difference. That's good. Let's check the thickness one more time, and then I'm going to have to leave. Boop. Oh yeah, that's better. We're getting there. And so, let's see if we can get a good angle of this. Probably not, because you never know. Huh. Oh my gosh, look at this is, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm terrible at camera. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's look at the shading of this. Voila, you can see it on a video. Look at that. So on this side, obviously I ruined it at the back. It's super, super thin. But on this side, you can see the taper is exactly what I want. It doesn't have much of a spine, maybe just a tiny bit. You can see a little bit of thinness on the sides there. But we're getting a good thinness up here and a good amount of thickness back here. So now that I've ruined this one piece of cane, hopefully my next 10 will be perfect. So I will post some photos and stuff on how that goes, and I will let you know. You know, the best way after this step is just to make reeds out of it and see how good it is, and then you can actually see the whole, you know, process of like, did that work? No? Can we need it thicker at the back? Sure, let's do it. We need it thinner at the tip? Let's do it. You can always adjust it more later. And the best test of that is just to make reeds out of this and make sure that it works for you, because you're never going to get those perfect measurements from every single piece of cane from the profiler. But at least you've seen how I set it up, how I figured it out, how I adjusted it. And I'm sure there will be more to come. So stay tuned. But thanks for being with me for this, and I hope you found this helpful. Have a nice night.